We're driving a BMW X5. It is a mid-size luxury SUV and it's been refreshed for 2024.
Here's how much it costs.
Coming up, this is the 617 horsepower X5 M Competition. We're going to experience launch control as a family, plus a feature my sweetie will love. Let's begin with interior.
Carbon fiber, lighted elements, beautiful stitching, and I'm showing you the back seat right now. In this trim, every inch of this is fancy.
We've got $140,000 worth of X5 here, double the base price. Lesser X5s still have premium vibes, just, less of the fancy stuff. The dash is uncluttered, but a lot of what you need to do is in this space, and they're capacitive controls. Typically, you'd be able to, like if these were physical buttons, just touch them and know what they are. Real controls would be easier. For small storage, we've got a reasonable size center console area.
You can actually heat or cool the drink holder. One note about the cup holders, they are small. I could not fit my beverage in here.
Behind that, there's a phone charger slot, which I think is a little bit difficult to reach, especially if you've got beverages in there. Elsewhere, door storage is good. There's plenty of space for a bottle, although at that angle, you're probably gonna wanna make it a sealed bottle.
We disagree as to whether or not this is a sauce pocket. It's at an extreme angle, and I'm not putting a sauce in there.
If you were a real nugget fan, you'd make it work. You get ranch all over the place, and then you have to explain, no, that's ranch. Moving to seat comfort, man, the ones we've gotten here are so incredibly adjustable.
I'm short and I feel like I never fit in a seat properly, but this one actually works.
You can even tilt the top section, which is kind of fun. I mean, not actually fun, but this is a very, very fancy version of X5. We do have massaging seats.
And it makes mommy nauseous.
Everything makes mommy nauseous.
Avert your eyes.
Moving to the back seat, I've got plenty of space. I'm impressed that I fit in that middle position well.
What is odd is that our daughter does not fit in the middle position.
If I scooch all the way back, which is a safe place, my feet have to go like this.
If she wants her feet on the ground, she has to slouch in a very uncomfortable and probably unsafe position. So depending on the size of the person in that middle position, it's either quite workable or not very workable. Kiddo, any issues getting in and out of the vehicle?
It's mostly easy to get in, even though the door doesn't open very wide and there's no grab handle.
I would prefer a recline function, but I did find the seat back to be relatively comfortable in that fixed position. There is an optional third row available for the X5, though everything I've read says it's pretty small. If you want regular third row usage, I'd probably go with an X7 instead. As for cargo space, it is a reasonable 33.1 cubic feet. There is an underfloor area, but ours is filled with a spare tire, which looking on the configurator is a $250 option. But if you've ever had a tire slash and been trapped somewhere waiting for a AAA to come get you, it's kind of nice to have a spare. I do like that you can put the cargo cover underneath the floor, though figuring out how to remove it was kind of tricky. I had to actually get the owner's manual out. It's like a button on the side, but it doesn't look like a button unless you know it's a button. That is kind of a BMW thing. How's this work? And then you have to do some digging and then you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
How do you make the hatch not close every time you sit in it?
I'm not sure if that's the foot activation functionality, which sometimes worked.
It's kind of a vindictive hatch. It only wants to close if you're in there.
How do you like that split hatch?
I find a split hatch a little bit difficult to access things that are far back.
And I like a split hatch because it means you'll never scrape up your bumper lifting stuff in. You can have a flat load floor, but you can also leave the lower section up to keep your stuff from spilling out. I was surprised in a vehicle of this price that there aren't remote rear seat releases. We do like that 40-20-40 split configuration, so you can have some long items go down the middle or just make a little obstacle course for your child. What about getting the booster seat installed?
The lower anchors are covered with plastic covers that are very simple to move out of the way, easy to snap in the booster. Also, I think there would be room for a rear-facing car seat.
As for safety, the NHTSA rates the X5 4 stars overall. I'm kind of surprised not to see a 5-star. Meanwhile, the IIHS rates it a top safety pick. There's a full suite of active driver assists and also 10 airbags. Family, what do we think? Is the BMW X5 family friendly?
With a base price of over $50,000, it is rich family friendly.
Rear window test. Kind of slow, but all the way down. Dink. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, I have easy access to the inboard and outboard armrest. Solid squish factor for both of my elbows. I'm gonna go 85% inboard, 85% outboard. Moving onward to style. To me, the X5 looks like a BMW, but not the vanguard of BMW design right now. It's a little bit more traditional, and personally, I prefer that. 2024 updates, we got new headlights, the little fender vents, they call them air breathers. Those are new design too. Do you like it?
I find it so stylish.
It always concerns me when you get enthusiastic about a really expensive car. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna cost us at some point, isn't it?
There's a lot happening, but because the themes repeat themselves throughout, it doesn't look too busy.
Perhaps my favorite feature of the exterior design, it costs a whopping $5,000, but that urban green paint on this thing, I think looks super cool. And if you're a fan of green like I am, check out these Flying Eyes Osprey sunglasses with mirrored emerald lenses. They cost way less than $5,000. Offering countless lens and frame styles, Flying Eyes feature patented Resilimide construction, making them light, extremely flexible, and very comfortable under a headset or helmet. They're made for pilots, but anybody can wear them. Learn more about Flying Eyes at the link in the description below. We're driving the M Competition version of the X5, which is the raciest one, which explains why we've got an M Competition rear spoiler, we've got unique fascias, and then we've got staggered wheels, 21-inch wheels in the front and 22s in the back, just adding an extra layer of complexity when you slash that tire. You really like the look of the BMW X5, but what do you think? Good car design? Bad car design? Tell us in the comments. And hey, would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family, plus the occasional helicopter adventure? If you would, you are welcome to subscribe in motion. When I say that the ride is firm, I don't think that extends necessarily to the rest of the lineup, but in our case, it is pretty firm. We are driving the specific M Competition version. This is the comfort setting, and you're feeling a lot of the road come through. And yet, that is appropriate for the premise because it's a very racy vehicle. Numerically, the steering ratio is comparatively slow, and yet it doesn't feel slow. Everything that you do with the steering wheel, it results in an immediate response. Very, very direct. Sometimes the numbers don't convey the whole story. Also, we have active roll stabilization. In addition to extremely flat cornering, we have tenacious cornering grip from the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. So confident, so quick. Clearly lower trims will be slower, but BMW does have a knack for inspiring confidence in the handling of their vehicles. Right now I'm driving in relaxed fashion, and you don't really feel the gear changes. Floored, and prompt downshift, and we're not even in one of the sporty modes. One of my favorite things, M1 and M2, you can escalate the driving behavior with these buttons. 6 different gradations of transmission behavior, and the red color is nice too. Oh, and I really like these carbon fiber paddles, and they've distinguished them tactily. Another new feature for 2024, a hands-free driver assistance feature. It uses cameras and radar sensors all around the vehicle to keep it in its lane and keep it going the right speed. That said, our tester doesn't have it, so we didn't test it. It also will do this thing where it'll suggest lane changes, and if you look at the mirror on the side it wants you to go, that's how you confirm, by looking at the mirror.
That's too smart. I might just see a squirrel out there now.
Hey, what's that? As mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're gonna do launch control. It's really easy to set up. Go to DSC and turn it off. Come to a stop, press the brake hard, and then we press the accelerator hard. Wait for the little flag, launch control active, let go of the brake. Whee!
Oh.
Wow. Okay, so now how are we feeling?
Wow.
I think you're feeling nauseous.
Yeah, it's like you're in here.
0 to 60 in the X5 M Competition is 3.7 seconds. Very, very quick. Although, you know what's crazy is that even the base X5 still is pretty quick off the line. I'm gonna hit the M1 button, and I'm just gonna blast through here in manual mode for just a little bit. Whee! You hear that? Not only do we have a lot of acceleration, but we have excellent braking power, 6-piston calipers up front, clamping 15.6-inch brake rotors. In all aspects, this is a very capable performance vehicle, and you can haul your family in it too. Got a few different modes to play around with. Let's go ahead and pop it into sport. Yeah, that's sporty. Whee!
Okay, now I'm nauseous.
Well, then that seems like a really good transition. That's what I think about driving the BMW X5, but what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. Challenge number 1, put us in drive.
When the sun shines on this, it's hard to see what you're doing.
We've been confronted with a lot of different gear selector philosophies. This isn't a complicated one, but if you're just getting used to it and you can't see what it is, that might be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, you're in drive, pull away.
Little hug from the seatbelt.
Aww.
Ah! I almost hit a bird. You described this as flat. I see what you mean, and it's extremely confidence-inspiring. I don't feel like I'm going to overwhelm it with my request. Of course, I don't drive very fast.
But you've got a vast reserve of confidence there.
Correct.
Just come to a stop. Don't have to do launch control, but just
Whoops.
floor it however you feel. Is that doing anything for you emotionally?
The power coming in with that great surge of sound makes it more enjoyable than an EV.
What about visibility? Any challenges?
Visibility is good all around.
As teased in the beginning of the video, there is a feature that the BMW X5 has that will make Sweetie ever so happy. Go ahead and put it in reverse. Over here we got Start Backup Assistant. Hit that. All you have to do is operate the accelerator and the brake, but it will steer the exact way you just came. Check it out, Sweetie. It's really cool too because it shows the mapping here on the rear camera.
This is awesome. I hate backing out of places.
Have you ever backed up with this level of confidence?
No!
Yeah, while we're backing up here, if we were in the market for a luxury SUV, are there any game killers that would keep you from buying a BMW X5?
None.
None. Oh, you said that with too much enthusiasm. I'm afraid we're gonna have to buy a very expensive BMW. Before we do that, let me get back in the driver's seat. All right, let's move on to remarks. Got a 14.9-inch screen for infotainment duty and a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster over here, and they're housed under a single pane of glass. This is new for 2024. And they also have M Competition specific visualizations in here.
Is that why everything looks so angular and cool?
Are you talking about Edgar Winters?
He's pretty angular, all right.
BMW includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless phone connectivity standard. If you go into the apps zone, all apps feels pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of apps. Just go into like the vehicle apps. It's still like a lot of stuff.
I found it simple to find my way around. There are shortcuts on the side. There are also these widgets, which are reconfigurable. And if you don't like to mess up your screen with fingerprints, you can also use this knob.
I like the 360-degree camera system. A lot of visualization. We have the gesture controls, which is an optional feature. So if you want to turn up the volume, you can like spin like this or like change this way or that way. It's a gimmick, but it's kind of a fun gimmick. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a BMW X5. No dipstick. There's a quick little readout that'll tell you if your oil level is good. And if you really want to know the oil level, it can do like a deeper dive and it takes a little time. Here's where you add oil, and that's where you can put the washer fluid. All right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a turbocharged, mild hybrid inline 6-cylinder engine. There's also a plug-in hybrid version of that inline 6-cylinder engine, 40 miles of pure EV range. Then there's a 4.4-liter twin turbocharged V8. Upgrade from the M60i to the M Competition, power goes up. With all engines, you get an 8-speed automatic transmission.
Sweetie,
Yes!
will you share our trim recommendation?
Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. We're going to recommend the base S-Drive 40i trim. It has heated power front seats with 4-way power lumbar, multi-zone climate control, a panoramic roof, and smart key access, though for some reason they don't have sensors for the back doors. But what they do offer is no charge for the refrigerant. Thanks, BMW! If you're feeling compelled to buy a BMW X5 of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below. That's where you can learn what your current car is worth for trade-in and what you should spend on a BMW X5. As for luxury SUV competitors, there's the Audi Q7, Mercedes-Benz GLE, Porsche Cayenne, and the Genesis GV80. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comments section. And now, it's our daughter's time to shine. Child, can you tell us what is your favorite feature of the BMW X5?
This little slot with this black gem thing that you can get your fingers under to open it. It's pretty cool. It's fun to open.
And I bet you'd like it even more if you used it as intended, which is to hold the optional rear seat entertainment system.
The gem's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, for a kid who's so entertained by hitting rocks with sticks, maybe you prefer just like the little hole there just to kind of poke or maybe put a rock in. Family, I think we've done a pretty good job reviewing and enjoying this BMW X5. May I have a 5 and a 5 and you can get your high five. Bam! And now, enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the BMW X5.
Evie loves the ride. With its every curve, it feels like heaven. Now driving,